Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. You may have noticed I missed a video or two in my schedule posting, and that is because the summer cold and flu season has hit our house in full force. I'm right in the middle of a cold right now, but I got a burst of energy and I'm feeling okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take advantage of it and try to film this video for you guys. So because I missed a couple, a lot has happened since our last video. In the last video, the chicks were 2 weeks old, and in the video before that, the garden had just been planted. Well, now the chicks are 4 weeks old. The garden, I think, is like 3 weeks old at this point, so a lot has changed, and today's video is just going to be a general, like, around the yard and homestead kind of update. I'm calling it a homestead because that is what I'm effectively trying to do. I understand this is just a yard, it's not an actual farm, but it's my channel, I get to call it what I want. So that's what we're going to do today. So some of the projects that have been going on are the garden, taking care of the chicks, and then also we have started building the chicken coop. So I was really hoping to have the chicken coop build be kind of like all just one video. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to have some clips of the building process up to where we are now, and then also kind of the rest of the build will probably be in a secondary video. So I think I'm going to start with those clips first. I started doing this project completely by myself while my partner was at work the one day. And so in doing so, I've never built anything before. I did try to YouTube some stuff. Mistakes were made. I had to completely disassemble and then rebuild it again. So I'm going to insert all the clips that I took while I was doing that. And then off camera, once my husband was back, we did end up building the floor as well. So I'm going to put all those clips in now, and then the next time you see me will be for the chick update. Alright, so after looking up some videos, I probably just should have used like a flat board and it would have been way easier to attach the studs, because now I'm alternating between going in on an angle and then drilling straight down. The mosquitoes are horrible today. But I kind of already cut everything, so I'm just going to keep going with it. It's not looking horrible though, so that's a plus. I have a brother-in-law and a father-in-law who are both carpenters who are probably going to look at this video a little funny if they watch, so sorry Blair, sorry Dave. I'm doing my best. Alright, please note that this is not a tutorial. I don't know what I'm doing. Turns out I wasn't supposed to cut in between all of them. It was supposed to be a solid piece so that it's sturdier. So I just did a bunch of work kind of for nothing, but we're just gonna build in the, I guess, plate is what it's called, underneath. So yeah, I sent a quick video to my dad and he was like, what are you doing? Let's do something different. So this is the new plan. We are gonna have to cut a piece to fill in the rest of it, but we're gonna support it with one solid beam on the top and bottom. And basically this wall will just be a little bit extra supported, which is okay because this is the wall we're gonna have the main door to get in the coop on. Alright, so unfortunately, because the original plan didn't include all the braces that I just made up, the wall is actually now longer than it's supposed to be, which means that I need to take it all apart. So that's kind of sucks because we've put probably 2 hours into this already, but I'm going to go through and take it all apart and then we're going to redo it the proper way. It's alright though, it's going to make a stronger wall and a longer lasting structure, so that is definitely worth it. Okay, let's try take two. We have our entire length of our bottom. We have all of our studs marked out on the top and on the side. And so now we're gonna sandwich these between the two plates, put the studs in the middle, and screw them all together. This should actually be a lot quicker too. Alright, so now that you saw the progress on the chicken coop, we're gonna jump ahead to the chick care. They are just cuddling in for a little nap. So this is how the baby chicks are looking at 4 weeks old. They're starting to get their feathers in on their shoulders and at the backs of their necks, and their wings are now almost completely fully feathered. So we're also starting to see a bit of the difference in the colors. So some of them, like that one, is almost all white. There's some ones that are more brown, and then some ones that are more kind of just gray. The black ones, all three of the crosses are similarly just kind of like black and white, and then that one right there is the black copper Moran, which has kind of more like a solid black wing feathers. So they love to scratch and dig. They were just digging in their bedding here. I'm still keeping their water up. As you can see, I literally just cleaned it out 20 minutes ago and they've already kicked stuff into it. So definitely you're gonna need to do a lot of upkeep. Also, as they're losing their feathers, the entire living room is now super dusty. So if you have the option to breed these guys in a space that is maybe less important in your household, or even ideally kind of outdoors already, like in a shed or in a garage of some sort where it's not going to matter as much if things get super dusty, I would definitely recommend that as well. I don't have one of those spaces, so they get to stay inside, but I probably would have picked a much smaller room because I've had to dust the entire living room multiple times just because of how much these little guys throw off. But they are happy, they're having a good time, and yeah, they're still really tolerant to being picked up and stuff, and like I've mentioned in the previous video, just mixing some wet food together is really helping in taming these guys. Alright, so now that we have updated on the chicken coop build and the chicks themselves, I'm going to head outside here and we are going to take a look at the garden process. So it's a little bright, apologies for that if I'm really squinting. We have seen a couple areas of some really big growth. So the peppers are a little bit bigger, but for the most part they do look the same. The difference is they have really started splitting and starting to put out buds, and you'll see on the stalk here at all of the joints they're starting to put out little side shoots as well. So that's really awesome for productivity because these little side shoots are all going to flower as well. So that's a really good sign that hopefully in a little bit we'll be having lots and lots of peppers. The temperatures have been very warm during the day for the most part, but the nights are still really, really cold. And I'm almost wondering if that's not shocking them a little bit and causing all this side shoot growth. But that being said, all of the jalapeno peppers are all kind of looking the same and are looking really great. So onto the greens bed. If you'll remember from previous videos, this is supposed to be spinach, this is supposed to be a radish patch, and this was supposed to be like an iceberg lettuce patch. So this is the only one singular iceberg lettuce that I ended up getting. So instead I took an entire packet of romaine lettuce and sprinkled it all in the side and the back, and the romaine lettuce is now actually coming up growing. I honestly think I just planted these too soon, because now that we're like 3, almost 4 weeks into when I planted these, if not longer, the spinach is just finally starting to kind of leaf out. And you'll see we do have the first of the radishes are kind of bulbing out. This one is as well, but you'll also notice that we have a ton of bug damage. So I'm not quite entirely sure what I'm going to do about that yet. But I was able to pick one of the bigger radishes that was starting to get chewed on, and I had it in a salad, so that was exciting for the first harvest. If you're following my Instagram stories, you would have saw that. Okay, so that is our kind of like little greens area, and then now by far the biggest change I think is the tomatoes. I'm just gonna hop around to the other side here. Okay, so the tomato patch. These tomatoes have gotten so tall, aside from that one died, but the rest of them are looking really, really healthy, and they've doubled, if not tripled in size, just in the few weeks that they've been out here. So that's really, really exciting to see. There are blossoms already. So this tomato has the first blossoms coming up here. And then if you remember, this one was a double tomato. So basically when it was just a wee little thing, I did pinch it and then it forced kind of 2 individual stalks, and it's still doing super well. I thought it might end up being stunted, but it looks really good. So the only thing I've been doing for these guys for maintenance is just pruning these suckers until I hit the first blossom. So basically I left this one, I see. So on every joint, this part of the plant here that's growing up, that's a sucker. I'm just gonna pinch that off, pull it, and just toss it away. There's another one here. So just take that part and pinch that until I hit the stem that has the first blossoms, and then I'm gonna stop. So these are a determinate variety. If it was indeterminate, you could just keep pruning all the suckers, but if it's a determinate, you don't want to prune anymore once you hit those first blossoms, because the plant will only put out so much fruit. So I'm just gonna do a quick check and see if there are any other examples. I can kind of show that. So here you can kind of see where I've been pruning the suckers in between all the leaves. And then we have our first blossom, and then I'm gonna actually let this sucker over here grow and continue growing, because that is gonna be how we get our fruit. So that's really exciting. It looks like we should be able to get some good tomato harvest. Okay, moving on to here, our beets. Once again, I think I just tried to plant these way too early. Sounds like there's another plane taking off. They are just very small and not really doing anything, so I might end up just trying to reseed this, honestly. The kohlrabi that we transplanted, I'm not sure if it's not liking the cooler evening temperatures, or maybe there's some kind of pest damage going on here, but they've kind of stunted or just like stopped growing altogether. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Our carrot patch is still doing really well. We still have our 6 rows of carrots, and they are very slowly getting bigger and starting to leaf out a little bit more. So that is really promising. And then our bell peppers, they are also doing good. Similar to the jalapenos, they're starting to grow their little side shoots, but overall they just look really healthy. So moving on to the herb bed here, if you'll remember, we planted 2 rows of dill and then also scattered some in between. So the stuff that was covered under rows did a lot better than the stuff that we didn't bury and just kind of scattered on top. But we have lots and lots of dill, so that's exciting. And then in that video, I wasn't sure if there was any plans for this bed, but I forgot that my neighbor had asked if she could use this bed, and her garden is looking fantastic. So over to the tower next. This is also probably one of the biggest changes, in the sense that the majority of the green beans and purple beans have now sprouted, and they're looking fantastic. So I'm really excited. We love eating fresh garden green beans, and everything is looking really good so far. And then I just stuck a cherry tomato in the top here for my husband. And then the half filled in-ground garden bed. This has been giving me some troubles. So if you'll remember, it needs to be weeded. Don't pay attention to that. This is our row of cucumbers. We had cauliflower here. Both of them got completely eaten by pests. So instead I've put in 2 rows of more radishes. We had 4 zucchini plants, but one of them died completely, and so it's just no longer there. These 2 were the ones that I started 2 weeks later than that one, and they are doing much better. So I can definitely conclude that everything I started for timeline this year needs to be pushed back 2 weeks, because these ones just did a lot better transitioning out. Our broccolini is really the star of this garden bed. It is getting so big and so healthy. It's firm, it feels good. I don't know when it starts like forming the heads. I think like that may be the start of one there. I'm really not sure, so I'm just letting it do its thing. And then we have our cabbage. We did have one of the cabbages die completely, and these guys by far are taking the majority of the pest damage. So I don't even know if we're gonna end up getting a complete cabbage, but they are like attempting to ball up, so that's really promising. I think this one here is one of the better ones that it's starting to try to form a cabbage head, so that would be really great if we were able to get one. And then I had an extra cherry tomato, so he just gets to live there. So yeah, I definitely need to weed this. There's a lot of grass, a lot of different vegetation, like all of those ones need to go. There is a lot of fennel growing, and I'm a little hesitant to pull that, other than it seems to be focused all the way around that one zucchini, and I want zucchini more than I want yarrow. So yeah, we'll just have to see. This needs work, but I'm not feeling at my best, so the weeding gets pushed off another week. And then from the clips, this is still where we're at with the chicken coop. So we have the floor, which is framed with 4x4s, and then we put this corrugated metal underneath the treated plywood, hopefully just as kind of like an additional layer of predator exclusion. And then the walls will be going on top. So this sidewall here is going to be the 5'6" sidewall. This one's going to be like the 4-foot sidewall, and then we'll have an angled roof. And then these kind of inner walls all together will be 4 feet, but we have to build them to like 3 feet 1 inch or something like that, I think. We still have to measure it out. And then we're gonna put plywood on all of it and then paint it. So that will be in a future video. Alright, so that is everything for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more homesteading content in the future. My video schedule I'm going to try to stick to is going to be Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. and Friday mornings at 8 a.m. is when I'm going to try to post. So we'll see how that goes when we get into the busy summer season. But I just ordered a brand new fly fishing rod, so I definitely want to make some videos with that. And I did end up getting a charger for my GoPro camera, so I'm really looking forward to some future fishing videos. And then we'll have more videos surrounding the garden and the chickens as the summer progresses.